post-LPG era of Indian economy, Indian system, the liberalization, privatization, globalization phenomena began to catch on. 1991 July 24 was celebrated recently for its 25th anniversary, being the day, exactly to the day when Manmohan Singh made his earth-shaking budget in the parliament in 1991. But that was the time when Kerala also turned fully literate. But to what sense? 25 years later, where do we stand? In the basic education as well as the higher education. In the basic education, you made classes up to 8th standard absolutely guilt-free in the sense that there were no failed candidates at all. Every student passed the examination. When I was the director of public instruction, I saw to my great amazement that suddenly the pass percentage had risen from 58% to 68%, and from there it was a quantum jump to 82%. And from 82 it had crossed over to 92 by the time I had come in. So kindly don't blame me for this 90% plus percentages that are coming about. Then there was a question that was posed to me. So if you try to evolve some mechanism by which it's brought down to a realistic figure, then people are going to blame you saying that you are a poor DPI. Because the standards are falling down in education and the pass percentage is falling down. It was the other way around, should have been the other way around, but 92%, I tried to solidify it at 91 and 90. And my then minister, Mr. M.A. Baby, the present Politburo member of CPM, used to justify it and used to tell the press that finally we have reached a lovely position at 92 and 91 and we have solidified ourselves in that position. I don't know what you mean by solidification. Whatever Dridikaranam we used to do, he being an extraordinary scholar in Malayalam usage and excellent, brilliant vocabulary as well, by using such terms like Tamogartam and Dridikaranam, therefore which nobody in Kerala understood at the time. And I used to tell my minister all the time that kindly speak in simple English, simple Malayalam, and he used to tell me that these are the words which come to me all the time in my mouth. What do I do about it? So 92% and 91%, I tried to stem it. I didn't want to, because it's not just a question of somebody being asked to fail or forced to fail. It was a question ultimately of the credibility of the examination. 94, 96, 98, today, after having left the system 5 years back, and today when I've come back again to education system as a Secretary General Education, I find that the pass percentage has touched 98.8. I asked my colleagues in the education ministry, why do we really allow 1.2% students to fail? We will allow them also the pass. I'm not finding fault with anybody getting a pass percentage. And we used to always state that in the Western countries, it's always a question of eligible for higher studies and not eligible for higher studies. EHS and NEHS. If that being the case, 98.8% were eligible for higher studies. It's not a question of pass, accepted. But what about the learning capability and what about the writing skills of the boy or the girl who went from classes 1 to 10? That's something of a serious concern. The concern begins from point number 1. What is the way in which the formative assessments and the summative assessments, the FAs and essays are carried out? When these assessments are carried out and they become a regular day-to-day process of, assessing the way in which the boy or the girl had really mastered the various rudiments of knowledge, what is the mark that the teacher has to put in? I found that every student has got either 19 on 20 or 20 on 20. So it meant that everybody was bright enough. But contrary was the case. It was that due to the societal pressures, due to so many factors which I don't want to disclose here for obvious reasons, every teacher was supposed to give 19 or 20 or 20 or 20. Add it to the little marks you need in the public exam and you get the pass mark. That's why Mr. R. Ramachandran Nair, a person of vintage 1961 batch, former Chief Secretary and Director of Public Instruction, was instrumental in popularizing Youth Festival, and he told me that, Hanish, what you have done nowadays is, you have really widened the goalpost. The goalpost was a bit narrow during my times. Today you being absolutely modern and stylish, you are increase the breadth of the goalpost, with the result that more and more students can certainly pass. I don't catch themselves passing it. At the same time, there are certain things which we need to ponder about. Certain answers need to be sought for such situations. After 10th standard, these boys and girls go to the 12th standard, 11th standard, and the 12th standard. The evaluation happens to be a bit more strenuous, a bit more tightened. What happens? They may fail, and what happens thereafter? Are we ending up with an army of students, army of young men and women who don't have any skills whatsoever, who don't have any proficiency whatsoever, and ultimately become loafers of the first order, and you're not able to find any rhyme or reason for their existence on this planet Earth? This is precisely the matter which should engage our minds and hearts. We speak about employability, skilling, skill development, and also transforming the demographic dividend of 2020, India being the largest, having the largest young population in the world, into the greatest strength of India. Suppose the converse happens. Suppose the opposite happens. What would happen? India would remain the land with the largest young, stupid population, which is not able to do even a small activity on its own. Then these youngsters are the ones who are bound to turn into thieves, robbers, and all kinds of antisocial elements. Come to think about the horrendous possibility which can await us, which can certainly come calling by 2020. This is what the Prime Minister and the Chief Ministers have to ponder about. This is what the Government of India has been trying to address as well. I hope and pray that things should improve. The Government of Kerala, for instance, has introduced the ASAP program, the Advanced Skill Acquisition Program. One of the best steps in the recent times, the Asian Development Bank aided project, which aims at providing skills, acquisition of skills for youngsters at various stages. Now, these are the things which we should be able to do. But when you think about the basic education sector, due to the Right to Education Act, or due to the kind of enormous freebies that are given by way of the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, there is no question of dearth of finances into infrastructure creation. Infrastructure would always be there. Access to schools could be provided. But what about the quality of the teaching that's to be ensured? Teacher training is something which has been suffering for a long, long time. The diets, the teacher training institutes, or for that matter, these BRCs and the CRCs, have not provided the right solutions to this vexing question which has been begging for an answer across the country. The district institutes of education and training, named the diets, are in existence in every district of this country, wherever you go. There is an interesting story about how the diets function across the country. At least in Kerala, in 14 districts, I got the diets, I got the principals, I got the lecturers who at least part of their time is devoted to academic activity, if not full. They too have their part-time works as well. Part-time works which are not really legal in terms of the service rules and the conduct rules. But there is a story which comes from Bihar. One of our colleagues went to Bihar to find out where the diet is. And across the town, that small town in which he landed up, he tried to inquire as to where is the District Institute of Education.